contribution of alkanes or alkyl groups on the activity of a drug, or you can say what type of properties of the drug can be altered or modified or changed due to alkylation or by adding alkyl groups to the structure of drug. So whatever we are going to learn in functional groups, the basics of those functional group, you're already well aware of those basics. For example, you know their structure, you know their nomenclature, you also know some of the reactions that can be used to prepare those functional group. You're well aware of their physical and chemical properties. The new thing may be the contribution, the importance of those functional group in the structure of a drug. Okay, and what type of metabolic reactions occur if a particular functional group is present in the structure of a drug. So since it is pharmaceutical chemistry, our focus would be on the pharmaceutical perspective of the functional group. Okay, how we are going to use a particular functional group in designing a drug, in modifying the property of a drug. Therefore, I'll be just summarizing the things that you have already learned, but I'll focus more on the topics or the headings which are new in this case. Okay, so first of all, we will define alkanes. As you all know that alkanes are the saturated hydrocarbons, and it means that they contain only carbon and hydrogen in their structure. The bonds between carbon and the other carbon, this covalent bond between the two carbon, it is the sigma bond. That is why the hydrocarbons are known as saturated hydrocarbons. So we can precisely define alkanes as a class of hydrocarbons in which all the carbons present in the molecule are linked to the other carbons by means of a single bond or a sigma bond. Their general formula is CnH2n plus 2. So this is not a new thing. You already know this. Then comes the methods for preparing alkanes. Now there are a number of methods that can be used to prepare alkanes. And what method we are going to use, it depends on the availability of reagents and the atmosphere of the lab, the conditions available in the lab to carry out a particular reaction. But we can use any of the available methods to prepare alkanes or to introduce a group, alkane group in the drug structure, or convert one group to the alkane group present in the drug. So we are learning this part of the functional group just to modify the structure of the existing drug molecule. So we can convert or we can produce alkanes by using Speier-Senderenz reaction. This is a reduction reaction in which the compound, precursor compound, or you can say parent compound, it should be an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Okay, so if we have unsaturated hydrocarbon available, we can convert it into saturated hydrocarbon, that is into alkane, by the reduction. So that process would be Speier-Senderenz reaction. We can also prepare alkanes from the alkyl halides. There are a number of reactions that can be used for this purpose. We can reduce alkyl halides. We can use them as a Grignard reagent and then treat them with any compound that can give proton to produce alkanes. We can also use Wurtz and Korehouse synthesis reaction in which we use the metals in the presence of dry ether to produce alkanes. Similarly, we can use carbonyl compounds such as aldehydes and ketones to prepare alkanes, and two types of the reactions can be used, for example, Clemmensen reduction reaction and Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction. Then we can also prepare alkanes from carboxylic acids either directly or using their salts. And there are two methods in this regard. We can decarboxylate the carboxylic acid to produce alkanes, or we can use the electrolytic reactions to produce alkanes. So some of these reactions are already done by you in your previous classes. We will have a brief summary of all those reactions, starting with Sabatier-Sanderen's reaction. So this is basically a catalytic hydrogenation reaction where alkenes or alkynes, whatsoever is available, are used to produce alkenes. Now, this reaction, it requires use of catalysts such as platinum or palladium that are absorbed on the charcoal in the form of fine powders and are written as platinum by C or platinum by C. Or nickel can also be used as a catalyst when higher temperature are required for generating alkenes. So when the reaction is to be taken place at room temperature and vigorous conditions of heating are not required, we can use platinum and palladium as a catalyst. Otherwise, nickel can be used. All three catalysts, they perform the same action. They perform the same duty. They just hydrogenate the unsaturated hydrocarbons. So by adding hydrogen at the two carbons sharing the double bond, it results in generating alkanes. Then comes the synthesis of alkanes from haloalkanes or alkyl halides. So the first type of reaction can be used for preparing alkane is the reduction reaction. And again, to reduce the alkyl halide, we can use nickel, palladium, or platinum catalyst. We can also use lithium aluminum hydrides that are metal hydrides as as for the reducing agent. We can also use zinc in the acidic medium, for example, hydrochloric acid or acetic acid as the reducing agent. So any of these catalyst or reducing agent interact with the alkyl halides and result in formation of alkane by simply removing this halogen. Okay. Then is preparation of alkanes from Grignard reagent. You also know the mechanism as well as the general equation for preparation of Grignard reagent. That is, you treat an alkyl halide with magnesium, which is a reactive metal, and the reaction is taken place in the presence of dry ether, so that reaction is not very violent and it is controlled. Okay, so in the presence of dry ether, treating magnesium with an alkyl halide results in formation of Grignard reagent. This Grignard reagent can be treated with any compound that can give a hydrogen, okay, or the compound that has the replaceable hydrogen. For example, water, for example, alcohols, for example, amines or thiols. So in all such cases, the compound that is going to give the hydrogen, this replaceable hydrogen, it goes and become added at this carbon which is attached to magnesium, because you all know that in Grignard reagent magnesium is highly electropositive. That is why carbon here which is attached to the magnesium, it is partial negative. Okay, it is having negative charge over here, so it attracts the replaced hydrogen towards itself, resulting in formation of alkane. Then thirdly, Wurtz reaction can be used to prepare alkanes from alkyl halides. Now the reaction is very simple and you don't need to remember its mechanism, okay? You just need to focus on the general reaction. Mechanism is just given for you to understand what happened actually. In Wurtz reaction, two molecules of the alkyl halide, similar or dissimilar molecules, they interact in the presence of sodium metal and dry ether to produce alkanes. Now, one thing to focus over here is the alkyl halides. When they are similar to similar alkyl halides, then they are going to interact with the sodium metal in the presence of dry ether, the resulting product or resulting alkane would be symmetrical. For example, if I am going to treat the methyl chloride with sodium metal in the presence of dry ether, the methyl group from the one methyl chloride molecule will interact with the methyl group of the other methyl chloride molecule, and the resulting product would be ethane. Halogen will be removed by this sodium metal and halides will be produced. Now what happens over here, you already know that halogen, they have lone pair of electron. They have electronegativity difference from the carbon. So this sodium, it is forming bond with the halogen that is attached to the alkyl group in alkyl halide, abstracts this halide group, halogen group, and forms a salt. This sodium, another atom of sodium, it becomes attached to the alkyl group over here. Sodium being electropositive gives negative charge to the alkyl chain. Now this moiety in which the electropositive sodium and the carbene ion intermediate of the alkyl chain is present, it interacts with another molecule of the alkyl halide. This alkyl halide may be the same used over here, or it may be different too. It may be ethyl chloride instead of methyl chloride. It can be propyl chloride. It can be any alkyl halide. So this R negative here, it will attract this R. Why? Because the bond between this alkyl group and this halogen group, it is polar bond. The halogen being electronegative, it will attract the electron towards itself, giving partial positive charge to this alkyl part. So this partial positive R with this partial negative R, they will couple up together, result in formation of alkane, and the salt will be removed. Now, since I told, if you are using the alkyl halides of the same type, in that case, having same number of carbon atom, in that case, symmetrical alkanes will be produced. If we are using two different types of the alkyl halides, it will result in formation of the alkane mixture. Okay, first करें आप interact करें methyl chloride को ethyl chloride के साथ, ठीक है? One type of halide contains one carbon and the other contains two carbon. Now what will happen? The reaction between the two halides in the presence of sodium and dry ether, it will result in preparation of different type of alkanes. How? Two molecules of the methyl chloride, they may interact with each other and result in formation of ethane. Then two molecules of ethyl chloride may interact with each other and result in formation of butane. Then one molecule of methyl chloride and one of the ethyl chloride, they interact with each other to form propane. So when we are using dissimilar alkyl halides for Wurtz reaction, the resulting alkanes are always a mixture. Okay, and the alkanes that are formed as a result of such reaction, they share similar properties. For example, ethane, propane, and butane. Okay, they all are liquid. Okay, or the hexane, pentane, or propane, they are all liquid. They share same physical properties. So when they share same physical properties, it is very difficult to isolate them, okay, to separate them from each other. That is why Wurtz reaction is never used for preparation of asymmetrical or non-symmetrical alkanes. We always use Wurtz reaction to prepare symmetrical alkanes. Okay, symmetrical alkanes are the alkanes that will contain the even number of carbon atoms so that the molecule can be split into two equal halves. Core-House synthesis. The advantage of Core-House synthesis is that by using this type of the reaction, we can prepare the symmetrical as well as non-symmetrical alkanes. Again, you just need to know the general equation. No need to write the mechanism, but I have given it just for the understanding. What happens is that alkyl halide react with Gilman reagent in dry ether and result in formation of alkanes. Okay. We also get the salts and alkyl copper compounds as a byproducts. What happens actually is that the alkyl halide is reacted with lithium in the presence of dry ether. Since it is a reactive metal, so we need non-aqueous conditions. So alkyl halide is treated with lithium in the presence of dry ether, and it results in formation of alkyl lithium compound. Simply lithium, it abstracts this halogen, removes as a salt, and one atom of lithium becomes attached to the alkyl group in the alkyl halide. So alkyl lithium compounds are produced by treating alkyl halides with lithium in the presence of dry ether. Now, two molecules of the alkyl lithium compound, two molecules of the alkyl lithium in the presence of copper halides result in formation of a reagent known as Gilman reagent. Gilman reagent is basically dialkyl, these two alkyl groups from the alkyl lithium attached to copper, and copper in turn attached to lithium. So Gilman reagent is lithium dialkyl cuprate. Now this Gilman reagent is used to treat the alkyl halide. This alkyl halide may be the same that was used to prepare the Gilman reagent, or it may be entirely different. Okay. For example, we have prepared we have prepared Gilman reagent using methyl chloride. So the Gilman reagent composition would be methyl, dimethyl, and this dimethyl group is attached to copper, which in turn is forming bond with lithium. So the Gilman reagent may react with another methyl chloride, or it may react with propyl chloride or ethyl chloride. We can use different alkyl halides here. Now, whatever type of alkyl halide is used here, it will determine whether symmetrical alkanes are going to be produced or asymmetrical alkynes are to be produced. If the Gilman reagent, it contains two methyl group over here, and we are using methyl chloride to treat with the Gilman reagent, the resulting product would be ethane. Okay, that is a symmetrical alkane. What happens actually that this carbon, it has the positive charge, and this R group, it has the negative charge. Same as I told you earlier that the alkyl halide, because of the electronegativity difference between the alkyl and the halogen group, there is partial negative charge on the halogen and partial positive charge on the R group. So this alkyl group, partially positive charge, it will couple up with the partial negatively charged alkyl group in the Gilman reagent and result in formation of alkane. The rest of the moiety will be removed as alkyl copper, and the lithium will couple up with this halogen and removed as a salt. If we are going to treat the Gilman reagent that has two methyl group attached over here with, you can say, ethyl chloride. Now in this case, this ethyl part and this methyl part, they will react together, they will couple up together and result in formation of asymmetrical alkane, that is propane. So using the Corey-Houth synthesis, we can produce symmetrical as well as asymmetrical alkanes. Now the third method used for preparing the alkanes is from carbonyl compounds. Okay, so we can use two type of the reaction, and the mechanisms of these reaction I have not mentioned here because Dr. Khalid is going to teach you in detail these two types of the reactions. Both type of the reaction, Clemmensen and Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction, involve reduction of the carbonyl part from the aldehydes or ketones. Talking about Clemmensen reduction, aldehyde or ketones, they have carbonyl carbon, and this carbonyl carbon can be reduced using zinc amalgam. Okay, zinc amalgam. And this reaction takes place in the presence of acid. That is, we need acidic condition to carry out this reaction. This results in reducing the carbonyl group in the aldehyde or ketone and results in formation of alkanes. Okay, so the mechanism is very extensive. I have not mentioned, but the notes I am going to share with you, these are in the word format. You will get the mechanism too. But no need to remember it right now. Then Bose-Kishner reduction. Again, carbonyl compound, aldehydes or ketones, their carbonyl group is reduced in the presence of hydrazine. The reaction takes place in a strongly basic condition and requires heat to eliminate this nitrogen as nitrene gas. The reduction of the carbonyl group results in formation of respective alkane. Then comes the preparation of alkanes from carboxylic acid. Two types of the reaction can be used. One is electrolysis and the other is decarboxylation. So for decarboxylation, we can use the carboxylic acid as such or their salt. Okay. In the presence of soda lime, which is sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, the carboxylic group from the carboxylic acid or the sodium or potassium salt of carboxylic acid is removed, resulting in formation of alkanes. Now, one thing to remember here is the resulting alkane will always have one carbon less than the carboxylic acid or sodium salt of the carboxylic acid, because the carbon from the carboxylic acid, one of the carbon from the carboxylic acid, it is removed as carbon dioxide. Okay, CO2. That is why the resulting alkane, it has one carbon less. Then is electrolysis. You already know what is electrolysis. So when from the solution of the salts of carboxylic acid, we pass electricity, we produce alkanes. So the ionization due to passing electricity converts the salts of carboxylic acid into cation and anion. And then the further reaction, they take place at anode and cathode. So at anode, this carboxylate anion, it results in losing the electron, resulting in formation of alkyl radical. This alkyl radical interacts with another alkyl radical and results in formation of alkanes. General properties. So alkanes, these are important to remember. General properties में सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे that alkanes are inert, or you can say they are stable. It is because they do not have unsaturation. So they're also known as paraffins. Clarity. The difference in the electronegativity of carbon and hydrogen is negligible. The electronegativity of carbon is 2.5, while the electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1. So the difference in the electronegativity on the Pauling scale, it is 0.4, which is a very negligible electronegativity difference. That is why the bond between carbon and hydrogen is non-polar. And we classify alkanes as the non-polar compound. Solubility. Since they are non-polar, and we know that like always dissolves in like, therefore alkanes are not soluble in water, but they are soluble in non-polar organic solvents such as hexane, such as octanol, such as toluene, such as diethyl ether or ethyl acetate, etc. So they are soluble in non-polar organic solvents. Alkanes are less denser than water, therefore they always float on it. Okay, so if we are using a separation flask, alkane or N-hexane or N-pentane, they will always be on the top of the water layer. Alkanes have sp3 hybridization, you already know. Isomerism. Alkanes exhibit both type of isomerism. They exhibit structural isomerism as well as stereoisomerism. In structural isomerism, the type of isomerism found in alkane is chain isomerism. Okay, they may exist in N-iso or neo form. Similarly, in stereoisomerism, they usually exist as conformational isomers. Conformational isomers are those isomers in which one isomeric form is interconvertible to the other isomeric form by simple rotation around the sigma bond. So since there is free rotation of groups around the sigma bond in case of alkanes, therefore they exhibit conformational stereoisomerism. You will learn the stereoisomerism in detail in stereochemistry section. मेरा हाल है डॉक्टर इस्लाम आपको पढ़ाएंगे इसको. Then comes physical properties. Now, some of the physical properties like physical state, boiling point, and melting point. There is not a smooth relationship between the property of the alkanes and their molecular weight or their dimension. Okay, these properties vary throughout the group. For example, talking about the physical state, alkanes that have carbon less than 4, they exist as gases. Those that have carbons ranging from 5 to 17, they are liquids. And from 17 onward, they are colorless, waxy solids. As well as boiling point is concerned, with increase in the number of carbon atom in alkanes, the boiling point increases because there is increase in the surface area occupied by the molecule. Also, the branching of the alkane compared to the normal linear structure, it results in reducing the surface area and the intermolecular interactions. Therefore, there is decrease in BP. Boiling point. Melting point. Melting point also, it does not have smooth variation in terms of the mass or in terms of type of isomerism existing in the molecule, because the melting point, it depends on the crystal lattice. So as general, the alkanes that have odd number of carbon atom, they have lower melting point compared to those that have even number of carbon atoms. It is only related to the surface area. Then in terms of isomerism, the increase in branching result in reducing the melting point. However, very excessive branching, it results in producing a very rigid structure that fits better in the crystal lattice, and that is why highly branched alkanes, they do have higher melting points. I will learn about the chemical properties, और मैं चाहूंगी कि chemical properties आप में से कुछ बच्चे, क्योंकि आप ये सारी properties पढ़ के आए हैं, आप में से कुछ बच्चे जो हैं वो hand raise करें and one by one start explaining it. I will show the slide, but you try to communicate with us and explain if you know about any of these chemical properties. जी beta, who can discuss free radical substitution reaction? What is a substitution reaction? And if you can explain halogenation, nitrogen and sulfonation. जी साथ बेटा.
मैडम सनलाइट की मौजूदगी में ये हेलोजन ऐड करना, इससे फ्री रेडिकल सब्स्टिट्यूशन कहते हैं.
Very good. So basically in the presence of light or at very high temperatures, we can add halogens in the alkanes. Simply hydrogen is abstracted from the alkanes and the halogen takes the place of that hydrogen. So it results in formation of alkyl halides, right? Ji beta, anyone else who can explain nitration? Ji bache. साद आप अच्छा आइजा जी बेटा.
मैम हाइड्रोजन रिप्लेस by any in nitro group by introducing any nitro group.
दोबारा से बोलें बेटे, दोबारा से बोलें आइजा बेटा.
मैम
इक्वल कंसंट्रेशन. मैम हाइड्रोजन नाइट्रोजन.
जी जी, हाइड्रोजन रिप्लेस होगा बाय नाइट्रो ग्रुप फ्रॉम नाइट्रिक एसिड and
by introducing any nitro group is be taken at 413 degree under pressure.
Okay, right. So
temperature be provided and given pressure.
Right. So alkanes, they react with nitric acid at high temperature, and this results in producing the nitro alkanes. Okay, and this is a very useful reaction to prepare nitroalkanes such as nitromethane, nitroethane, etc. Okay, what about sulfonation, beta? जी बच्चे सल्फोनेशन हैंड जी आइजा बेटा.
मैम H2SO4 में का हम रिएक्शन करवाएंगे इक्वल कंसंट्रेशंस में और उसके बाद इलेक्ट्रोफाइल SO3 माइनस होगा जिसकी वजह से H2SO4 ग्रुप ऐड हो जाएगा और yes, और H2SO बाद में H2O जो है वो SO3 जो हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रोफाइल आएगा उसको कंपनसेट कर देगा और हमारे पास सल्फर ग्रुप ऐड हो जाएगा.
वेरी राइट. सो बेटा सल्फोनेशन के बारे में एक आपको बात याद रखनी जरूरी. नाइट्रेशन can be more than one time. There may be dinitration product too, but in case of sulfonation it is usually restricted to monosulfonation state. ठीक है, तो अल्केन जो है उनमें मोनोसल्फोनेशन की प्रोडक्ट जो है वो बनती है. नाइट्रेशन कैन अकर अप टू ट्राई टू. ओके. Okay, what about the oxidation? Who is going to share how alkanes are oxidized? Ji Badr.
मैम ऑक्सीडाइज बाय
जी जी बेटे. बदर आप बोल रहे, बच्चे आपकी आवाज बिल्कुल क्लियर नहीं है.
कैटालिटिक ऑक्सीडेशन के अंदर कॉपर को यूज करते हुए 400 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे और 200 एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर के ऊपर मुख्तलिफ प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं. एज ये जैसे हम प्रोसीड करते जाते हैं पहले मेथाइल अल्कोहल फिर फॉर्मल्डिहाइड फिर फॉर्मिक एसिड फिर उसके बाद ये
राइट, वेरी राइट, वेरी राइट. थैंक यू सो मच. तो बेटा जैसे अभी बदर ने डिस्कस किया, ऑक्सीडेशन कैन बी कंप्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन और इट कैन बी इनकम्प्लीट oxidation. Okay, and we have included two example over here. First is combustion and then as oxidation in the presence of oxidizing agent. Combustion में भी incomplete और complete हो सकती है. Complete combustion में end products जो होंगी वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और वाटर होंगी. ठीक है, और ये एक्सेस ऑफ एयर की प्रेजेंस में होगी. इनकम्प्लीट कंबशन जो होगी उसमें लेस एयर है, सो इट रिजल्ट्स इन प्रोड्यूसिंग कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड and water, and carbon is also deposited in the area where combustion is taking place. If we're going to use oxidizing agent to cause oxidation, such as copper tube, if we are going to use it for oxidation, or if we are employing molybdenum oxide, silver oxide, or potassium permanganate, we can also oxidize alkane, and the resulting products are alcohols, aldehydes, and then acids. जी बेटा, what about the reaction of alkanes with carbenes? जी बच्चे, who can tell us? अभी तक आप लोगों ने पढ़ लिया बेटा कार्बीन्स क्या हैं? जी बदर.
मैम कार्बीन्स नहीं पढ़ा हमने.
ओके, चलें इस रिएक्शन को मैं एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ. सो कार्बीन आर द रिएक्टिव इंटरमीडिएट. ये सर खालिद आपको स्टार्ट करवा दिया होगा उन्होंने, हो सकता है. सो रिएक्शन इंटरमीडिएट्स में आप कई तरह की एग्जांपल पढ़ेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल कार्बेनाइन, कार्बीनाइन, कार्बेनाइन, कार्बोनियम आइन, कार्बीन्स, नाइट्रीन्स, etc. So carbene is a type of reaction intermediate. It is a moiety in which carbon has two valence electron. It is forming two bonds, while the two electrons are available as a lone pair. ठीक है, तो कार्बन जिसके पास दो अनशेयर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन है और दो उसने बॉन्ड्स बनाए हुए हैं, such a carbon is reactive and it is known as carbene. So carbenes can abstract the hydrogen from alkane and become attached to the alkane to form the higher alkanes. So this is one of the reaction of alkanes that upon reacting with the carbenes, they result in forming higher alkanes. Then is dehydrogenation. जी बेटा ये कौन बताएगा? ये भी बहुत सिंपल से दो रिएक्शन है, dehydrogenation and pyrolysis or cracking. हरी आप जल्दी से हैंड रेज करें. जी अमल बेटा जल्दी जल्दी से बताना है.
Removal of hydrogen from alkanes to form alkenes or other unsaturated products are called.
Very good. Okay, good. And what about pyrolysis?
Ma'am, breaking down in the presence of heat.
Breaking down due to heat, and this breaking down obviously will result in formation of fractions that have less molecular weight compared to the parent compound.
Ma'am, breaking of higher molecule alkane in lower molecule.
Right, very right. Okay, breaking of higher molecular weight alkanes into lower molecular weight alkanes as well as alkenes. Okay, so lower fractions जो produce होती हैं, they produce due to the thermal decomposition. Very right. So what about aromatization? जी बेटा जी, aromatization आप लोगों ने पहले
मैडम
पढ़ा?
स्ट्रेट
जी।
चेन अल्केन जो है उन्हें बेंजीन में कन्वर्ट करना है।
हाँ, और ये कैसे होता है बेटा? It is a two-step
मैडम
reaction.
एल्यूमिनियम ऑक्साइड और क्रोमियम ऑक्साइड की मौजूदगी
क्रोमियम, हाँ जी, एल्यूमिनियम ऑक्साइड और क्रोमियम ऑक्साइड
600
या
डिग्री
वेनेडियम ऑक्साइड हो सकते हैं, मॉलिब्डेनम ऑक्साइड हो सकते हैं. So oxides in the presence of chromium, vanadium or molybdenum oxide and aluminum oxide at very high temperature, the alkanes that have carbon number more than 6, they result in formation of the aromatic compound. First of all, there is cyclization, and this cyclization is followed by dehydrogenation resulting in formation of double bonds in the cyclic structure. Very good. Okay, what about isomerization? Jivita, who is going to tell us? जी बेटे, शाबाश.
मैम
अमर
सेकेंड चेन को ब्रांच चेन में चेंज करना.
लीनियर स्ट्रक्चर को ब्रांच्ड स्ट्रक्चर में चेंज करना, एंड दिस isomerization it takes place in alkanes that have carbon number, at least carbon number 4, that have total 4 carbon or more than 4 carbon. So this reaction takes place in the presence of aluminum halides in the acidic conditions such as using
की एवरेज चेन लेंथ को.
दोबारा से बेटे बोलें.
Ma'am, it also reduced the average chain length.
Yes, very right, beta. Because there is the linear chain that is converted into a shorter chain. Okay, because iso and neo forms or branching occurs. That is why the length of the chain is reduced. So this takes place in highly acidic condition using aluminum halides at high temperature. Very good, beta. Okay, now we will come to the identification test. How we are going to identify if a particular drug or the unknown compound, बेटे किसने unmute किया हुआ? Mute कीजिए. If a particular drug or the given sample, it contains alkane group. So there are a number of tests used for this purpose, और इन टेस्ट को आप यूज भी करेंगे बेटा जब हम टेस्ट परफॉर्म कर रहे होंगे, अननोन सॉल्ट को एनालाइज कर रहे होंगे. So the most common test used for detecting alkanes include addition of bromine, oxidation by potassium permanganate, use of ammoniacal copper chloride solution, and then ignition test. So bromine water, that is bromine in the aqueous solution, when it is added in a sample, and if the sample contains alkane, the bromine is not added into the structure of alkane. That is why the color of the bromine does not change. So basically bromine water, it has orange color. So if the sample contains unsaturation, bromine is added to that unsaturation. Okay. So the addition product due to bromine results in reducing the color or disappearing the color of bromine. But since alkane, they are saturated compounds, so bromine does not add in alkanes. Therefore, upon addition of the bromine water in the sample solution containing alkanes, bromine's color will remain intact. That is, orange color will not discharge. So we will say that the sample contains alkyl group. There is no unsaturation. Same is true for the permanganate oxidation. If we add Bayer's reagent or alkaline potassium permanganate in the solution of alkanes, okay, so the color of the potassium permanganate, which is purple, it is not discharged. So persistent color of the potassium permanganate indicates that the substance or the chemical under investigation, it does not have double or triple bonds. The third reaction is using the copper chloride solution in which there is ammonia called copper chloride solution. So when this reagent is added into a sample, if the sample does not contain triple bond, then this reagent does not result in adding copper to the unsaturation, and that is why the precipitates of copper acetalide are not formed. So when we will add ammonia called copper chloride reagent in a sample which contains alkane, no reaction will take place. That is, no precipitates of the copper acetalide will be formed, which will indicate that the sample does not contain unsaturation. Ignition test. Heating the drugs that contain alkyl group only or the alkanes, it results in producing non-sooty flame. ठीक है, तो फ्लेम जो होती है वो नॉन सूटी होती है, उसके अंदर स्मोक नहीं होती. दिस इंडिकेट्स दैट द कंपाउंड और द ड्रग इट इज हैविंग द सैचुरेटेड सिस्टम्स. Pharmaceutical importance. Why we studied alkanes? So there are basically two applications of alkanes in the pharmaceutical industry. Number one, they
मैम
serve
नेक्स्ट
as
स्टार्ट हो गई है हमारी.
बेटा बस मुझे 1 मिनट ठहर दें. चलो, हाँ, मेरे पास 2 स्लाइड्स हैं. आपकी नेक्स्ट क्लास है कौन सी?
इंग्लिश.
अच्छा, चलें ठीक है. आप ऐसा करें, आप अटेंडेंस मार्क करें और फिर आप लोग लीव कर सकते हैं क्लास को.